anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11 and 12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Rory Mack, it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We know we also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Time Decisions. A very happy Sunday to you as we look to close out the month of June and get ready to welcome in July. The dog days of summer are almost upon us. And good news is, got a full slate of Major League Baseball games getting ready to go. One already underway here as we've got the Pirates and the Braves looking to finish up their weekend set. And, I had said earlier I wasn't expecting a big pitcher's duel like we got yesterday with Skeens and Max Fried, but, well, we've kind of got ourselves a pitcher's duel with Schwellenbach and Brady Falter right now. Still no score here. Top of the second inning. It is early out at Truist Park, but a little early start to the 15-game slate here today, which will eventually culminate with a Sunday night baseball game at Camden Yards with the Orioles taking on the Rangers. Heaney taking on Irvin in that one there. But before we get to that, we got a whole lot of Major League Baseball. It was a hell of a game last night, too, by the way, yesterday with the Orioles and the Rangers. Orioles ended up squeaking it out, but it was home run fest yesterday. Bad news for Texas, though, with Corey Seager. Keep an eye on whether or not he's going to be in the lineup. I tend to think if he can go, he will go, but he hit a home run in that game yesterday, but did have some sort of wrist issue and left that game before the end of it. And, of course, Baltimore hit a grand slam in that game. It was a pretty good pitcher's battle right up until the grand slam came, and then the Orioles were able to hold on as Texas was hitting a bunch of solo home runs to eventually tie it, but Baltimore eventually won it. And now, of course, they are going through it there, the old Texas Rangers, but they will have an opportunity here to get one back. They're going to have to go through Irving, though, who's 4-2 on the year, or 4-2 rather, in 8 career starts against the Rangers. I like this game here. I do think after losing, 10-8, or they lost the first game on Thursday, they have not. Baltimore had gone through it when they were pretty much being handled before this series here, but Baltimore seems to have righted the ship a little bit, and we know They set a record for home runs in the month of June. 60 home runs in the month of June. And we still have one more game tonight here to see if any more can add to that. That's already a record-breaking home run month in franchise history for them. They did go 17-11 this month here. So there was a stretch in which not great. They came back down to earth a little bit when the bats weren't nearly as hot, but they looked to finish it off with a pretty resounding clean sweep here of the Texas Rangers, who will send Heaney to the mound, who does not have a great track record against this Baltimore Orioles lineup. Keep an eye on that total, too, because something tells me we could have some runs once again at Camden here tonight for Sunday Night Baseball. We've got a couple other games also that we'll get to coming up, including the Mets. Yeah, how great was watching that meltdown yesterday against the Houston Astros. Things were going swimmingly, and just when you thought the New York Mets were never going to lose a game again this year, and they really should not have lost that game yesterday, but the bullpen melted down. The bats for the Houston Astros came to life, and just like that, Houston was absolutely crushing it yesterday. They were crushing it heading into this series. And yesterday, they just showed you why they need to be taken seriously, and what I think is maybe the weakest division in the American League out west there. Houston's still very much alive now at 500 after that win yesterday. They're going to look to get another one here today. Going to be a bullpen game of sorts, but Severino going for the Mets. He is that guy. I believe, what was it, Sunday Night Baseball last week against the Cubs? He delivered for him. He is going to have to deliver again against these red-hot Houston Astros. That game coming up at 1:40 p.m. Can the Mets right the ship? And I'm not going to lie, George Kurtz and I were live on air yesterday and in-game live all access watching this game, and we welcome in George Kurtz here. There may have been a bet or two when Houston was down 6-1 in this game after the third inning that we thought maybe Houston had a few more runs left in them, and that proved to be correct. But I didn't see having that many runs as they pulled away late. But every inning that we looked there, George, both of these teams had runners on second and third, first and second. I'm shocked the Mets didn't end up scoring more runs. How in the world do we not look at the over in this one here today?
I think you have to look on the over in this one today. They're already talking about that Severino has to go deep into this game, by the way, because you already said it. The bullpen is crushed. Not only they suck, they're also gassed. They really can't go.
Yes.
So they need Severino to give them innings today, which means we could be able to make a play on Severino's outs. Maybe you want to go take the over there because he's going to have to eat. If he pitches terrible today, he's going to have to eat it anyway. Either way, I think I don't see any way unless he's getting like 10 runs that Severino's not going 6 innings today. You mentioned last week in Chicago, Sunday Night Baseball, he was brilliant. Right, brilliant. I believe he went 7 innings in that game, or at least 6, only like 1 or 2 hits. So he was really good. Severino has sort of remade his career from last year. Last year they thought he was tipping his pitches with the Yankees. This year, not so much. He looks like the Severino of old.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, when he was with the Yankees, he didn't exactly pitch well against Houston Astros. They kind of beat him up there a little bit. But you mentioned a shorthanded bullpen for the Mets. Because Edwin Diaz is only a 10-game stretch here that they have to go through. They're not going to have their closer. 5 runs in the final 2 innings is what they gave up yesterday. And if Severino can't keep the ball in the ballpark, yikes. This is going to be a long afternoon for the New York Mets. Both these teams are finally at 500. George, who do you give a better shot at making the playoffs here between these two teams?
Oh, I'm going to go Houston because I don't think they're going to give up, right? I don't know what the Mets are going to do at the deadline, all right? That's going to be a good game now, but are they really willing to add with that pitching staff? They're not winning the World Series. I mean, how important is just making the playoffs to Cohen and the Mets? Maybe it is important. You know, he keeps, blustering since he bought the team, right? The World Series, playoffs, maybe just making the playoffs will be important to get some of the fan reaction off his back. But come on. As much as I like Severino, Quintana, McGill, who just got sent down, so Scott will be a starting pitcher there. Minaya, boy, we're not talking anywhere near a World Series staff. We're not. If not the fact that they had the extra wild card, we're probably not even talking about the Mets making the playoffs. That being said, who's going to get the last spot? You look at the Mets.
Yep.
The Central's a mess. So Giants. Who's going to get it? Someone's got to claim it. So I think the Mets pretty good shot here. And you already said the American League West. Once again, tougher. Actually, I'm going to change my mind here. The Mets have a better chance. At least the American League are a lot of mediocre teams, right? Boston, Tampa, Minnesota. See if Seattle wins, Houston. You want to throw Texas in here if they can get their act together. So there's a lot more teams there. Mets may not have as much to go through.
Yeah, no, that's a good point here. It was another win last night. Minnesota handled business there against Seattle, but I think that West is wide open, and I think Houston is very much alive in the conversation after the All-Star break, which will be here before we know it. And a team like the Phillies can't wait till it gets here, given the fact that, they are going through it. No Schwarber, no Harper, injuries have been, and even Remuto still, they're hoping to get Remuto back by the time after the All-Star break. So if any team can use the break, I definitely think the Phillies, as well as maybe the Mets and a few others, can do it. But we've got plenty more Major League Baseball on tap. Come back and join us. Game Time Decisions continues on the Grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11 and 12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Rory Mack, it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. Game Time Decisions here on this Sunday here as we get ready to say goodbye to June. George Kurtz stepping in here as we've got a huge Major League Baseball slate. George, we are just, I guess, about an hour, 1:30, a little more than an hour away from the next wave of Major League Baseball games to start. By the way, still no score in the third inning between the Pirates and the Braves. And here I am saying, well, we're not going to get a pitcher's battle like we did yesterday. Well, we're getting a pitcher's battle between Falter and Schwellenbach right now. But we'll keep you posted on that one. One of the other games I wanted to talk about here, George, coming up, and there's a few of them, but we said it yesterday on In-Game Live All Access. You and I were live covering this Padres and Red Sox series. And my goodness, the Padres have woken up, and it all begins with Mr. Machado there, who is really starting to finally figure it out, and great timing. The Red Sox, who I thought might be overperforming a little bit during their recent success in June, and boy, they've come crashing down to earth in a big way. I love Waldron. I love the young knuckleballer. I think this kid's got a great future here with the Padres. If they keep swinging the bats, and I don't see any reason why they lit up Tanner Houck, who was their best pitcher, Pivetta, I don't see why the Padres are all of a sudden going to start hitting here. It feels like some sort of over team total or something in this game at Fenway Park here today.
Agreed. Padres are hot. Bottom line is Padres are hot, Sox are not. And I can't say we're surprised about the Sox, right? Because you said, and I would agree, they probably were overperforming. And because they're not that good a team, they're not that bad a team either. They're really some place in between, but right now they're struggling. And now you're facing a knuckleballer, which we don't see all that much in Major League Baseball anymore. A knuckleball throws the knuckleball harder than normal too, not your old Phil Niekro, knuckle that's just floating up there. So it'd be an adjustment period, and they're a younger team, so that could be it could be a tough adjustment here. So I'm kind of with the Padres as well. You mentioned Machado. I'll throw in the other M here. Jackson Merrill's playing so well. Also might be your leader for National League Cy Young, Rookie of the Year there. So they're hitting. All right, Arias is setting the table up top, getting on base. People are driving him in. The lineup is dangerous. I mean, right now it is dangerous. They're all hitting. And I think it's, you're playing in Fenway. You got the monster. I'm expecting more runs to be scored today. I am. I think the Sox will score somewhat too, but I'm on the Padres and I'm on the over as well.
I believe, and it's been just hilarious here. 20-3 in the first two games. The Padres have outscored them here. A 9-2 on Friday, 11-1 yesterday, 16 hits. That's the most the Red Sox have given up in a game this season. But what I didn't realize, too, is the Padres are 5 games over 500 now, Gertz. It just didn't register with me. So this should not, I guess, be a surprise at 46-41. I mean, listen, nobody is catching the Dodgers. But is your hope for the Padres after the All-Star break? They are very much going to be playing postseason baseball if all holds true here.
Yeah, right now they're in the season ended today, and boy, wouldn't that be disappointing here? They would make the playoffs, and we know they're making a move at the deadline, and probably a big move. They always do.
Yes.
Right? They're not afraid to pull that trigger. They're not playing for 3 years from now. They're playing for now. So they'll make a move.
Yep.
I'm assuming it will be starting pitching. That's really what they could use, another starter with all the injuries they've had here. Musgrove was just put on a 60-day IL, or I should say transfer to the 60-day IL yesterday, so we're not going to see him for a while. We know that Darvish is still out here, so they need pitching help there. Everybody needs bullpen help, all right? So that's just a given for every team here.
Yep.
But they very much need starting pitching help, and I think they'll make that move. Yeah, I think the Padres will be there. I don't know if I'm going to say they're a World Series contender, but, you give me a healthy Darvish, Dylan Cease.
Yep.
That could be very interesting, especially if Musgrove can return as well. Could be interesting in a 5-7 game series there. So, Padres, I think, will be in the playoffs. They'll be there. They'll be in the mess, but they're not to the level of the Dodgers or the Phillies.
Yeah, I'll tell you another. I think we're going to see a trend of overs here. There are some games today, Kurtz, that I cannot even think about betting an under in. And I'm thinking the Cubs and Milwaukee is another one of these games. Hendricks going for the Cubs, and Peralta, who if you'd have asked me 2 years ago or a year ago, I'd be like, oh boy, this is looking an under. Peralta's been getting lit up like a Christmas tree. He can't locate his pitches. He's actually lost a little velocity, and he's been getting crushed. And we already know Hendricks has already passed his point of any return. How are we not getting an over in this one here, Kurtz?
I don't know. I'm on this. This is one of my favorite. I was shocked. Still shocked that it's 8. You're talking in Milwaukee, too. It's a hitter's paradise here. Neither team has much of a bullpen if it gets that far. What you said is correct. Peralta, who had a good start to the season, I'll call it slumping. All right, I'm going to call it slumping. I just, whatever it is, last couple of starts have not been good. Hendricks has been like the opposite here. He was a dumpster fire. Then they took him out of the rotation. They put him in the bullpen, and now he's back in the rotation due to injuries. He actually has pitched well of late. That being said, I think he's done. I just think he's done. He said, yes, I'm on the over. I think runs are coming. I think this is one of those. I think this is off by at least a run, if not a run and a half, Joe. I think it's be 9.5 here, not 8. So give me the over here big time for Milwaukee, Chicago. I think runs are coming, and I think they're going to slaughter this over.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Pampas there got lit up for the bullpen of Milwaukee yesterday. Not great. They ended up losing it, but I'm all about runs in this game for sure. I don't know what we're going to get, Kurtz, with the Reds again today. They score 20 runs. They score none. They score 15. They score. What are we going to get here today with Green against Lance Lynn here? The Reds, is this a dog look? What are we doing here?
I think it is a dog. I think it's Lance Lynn. He's pretty much he's the Bartolo Colon. I got a fastball. Here it comes. He'll throw different kinds of fastballs, but that's pretty much what he does. 2-seamer, 4-seamer, cutter, in, out, up, down. He's throwing fastballs. So I think home runs are coming. I'd like this game a lot more if it was in Cincinnati. That's a lot of anytime home runs. Candelario is expected to return to the lineup for the Reds. I think that helps. I think they sort of miss him, that big bat, batting third in the lineup here. I like the Reds. Now Lynn is sometimes he pitches well, sometimes he doesn't. So we're guessing here. Green has been good of late. He's been really good. I like the Reds in the game. That's the bottom line here. I like the Reds in the game here. I think they're going to St. Louis once again.
All right, we'll be back here. Game time decisions on the grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11 and 12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Rory Mack, it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We also love the losers who said, you know what? I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on this Sunday on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Ranieri. Appreciate you stopping by with us as we got a lot going on here on this final day of June. Loaded slate of Major League Baseball. We do have Euro Cup action underway right now with England, a big favorite. We'll see if they can hold down the fort. We got the final round of the Rocket Mortgage Classic in Detroit, Birdie Fest USA. We'll talk more about that coming up this hour to see if there's anybody that can catch Ashke Batia here or Rai at this point. But we do have also not one, not two, but 3 WNBA games coming up here, and it's going to start early here, 1 o'clock Eastern time in Brooklyn, with none other than the Liberty taking on the Dream here. And who better to talk WNBA than the coach, James Young, in the house here, ready to roll here, Coach. The Liberty taking on the Dream here, Coach. Jonquel Jones, I'm guessing. What are we doing here in this matchup, and who are we looking at prop-wise?
Well, it's a huge spread, and if folks know anything about the Liberty, they do not cover games at home, even though they basically haven't lost a home game all season. So the best way for me to look at it is I'm going to go with Jonquel Jones to go 1.5 made threes, go over that prop. Jonquel Jones had a really good year, scoring about 16.8 points per game. She does, for a 6'6", take a decent amount of three-pointers. Now, listen, she's missed it the last 2 games, but she hit it, I think, the previous, 7 games before that. The last time she played against the Dream, it was a 96-75 win. She only took 2 3-point attempts. That was because the Liberty were winning by a humongous margin. Had them come back, the Dream, or still won by 20. Jonquel Jones, over 1.5 made threes. If you find the team total for the Liberty at 91.5 points, I would look squarely to the over. If you think about this, it's the last couple of games, right? 89 points versus the Lynx. They're a strong defensive team, right? 96, 98, 93, 93, 90, 93. They score, and they score a lot. Atlanta don't stop anybody. Team total over 91.5, double J over 1.5 threes made.
Yeah, they don't stop. And perimeter defense terrible, so that should be a good day for the Liberty kicking off. One of the 2 3 o'clock Eastern time games we have, Coach, should be a pretty interesting and physical battle between the Lynx and the Chicago Sky. Not another one of these. You're gonna lay some juice here at 7.5. How are we approaching this one?
Well, I'm not going to touch obviously the double market with Angel Reese, because Joe, that done left the station. Like the numbers that are coming out, they're getting her. You're better off trying to see if she can break the record and playing it that way to get anything near even money. So I'm going to go with Nafisa Collier over 21.5 points. Now, Nafisa Collier has gone over 2 of the last 3 games. She did have a 21-point performance versus the Liberty. And then you look at a team like the Chicago Sky, they do struggle, Joe, defensively. I think Angel Reese could get himself in the foul trouble, should be worried about scoring, rebounding. Cardozo, no chance in hell. Kalia Copper, over 21.5 points.
No, I love that you brought that up, Coach. They're struggled defensively. Let's a great segue into the Indiana Fever, taking on the Mercury for, I believe, the first time this year. I mean, it just feels like the books have caught on, but it's an over, right? Any Indiana Fever going with any team that can score. Are we going over in this one?
Yeah, we're going over in this one. And then obviously I'm looking at Kalia Copper, a.k.a. Walking Bucket. Listen, I know she's gone over in only 2 of the last 5 games, but if you start lining up teams that are under 500, 24 points, right, against the Sparks, 12 points against the Sparks, that was in 29 minutes. Then you start looking at games like 32, 20, 37, 38. This lady scores in bunches. Kalia Copper. Caitlin Clark would do her thing, but no one's checking K-Cop. Kalia Copper over 22.5 points.
I love Coach. I mean, if it ain't broke, we ain't fixing it here today. Still, Caitlin, for your Rookie of the Year, though, Coach? Nothing has changed on that front for you?
I'm telling you, it's coming. Angel Reese is coming, folks. If she could put together another couple of double-doubles, she could be close. If you want to take Angel Reese, this may be the best number, because I think she's going to start to slowly chip away at that number.
Love that. Coach James Young, enjoy your last Sunday of June, my friend. Game Time Decisions returns after this.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11 and 12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Rory Mack, it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We know we also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on this Sunday as we get ready, loaded Major League Baseball slate here, some WNBA. We got some Euro Cup, and the NBA never sleeps. Kudos to them here for figuring out that you got to stay in the headlines, out of sight, out of mind. Michael Fiddle knows all about that with the NBA as we're coming off a crazy couple of weeks here. I mean, Mike, happy Sunday. We get the finals. We get the Celtics win, then we go into the draft, and we got guys fired, guys traded. It's been a hell of a couple of weeks, and we're learning first and foremost, Bickerstaff looks like he's going to Detroit. I like him. Do you like the hire there for them with this?
This is actually breaking news to me, Joe. Yes, I love the hire of JB Bickerstaff in Detroit. He's very stable. He's very good at talent development. We saw him with the Memphis Grizzlies when they first drafted John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane. They've flourished. Then he goes to Cleveland, helps develop Evan Mobley and Darius Garland, who made an all-star team. Now you go over to Detroit. You got young pieces like Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, and the big man Jalen Duren. I think it's the right talent development fit. I mean, last year with Monty Williams was kind of a disaster. So this is the right move and the right time to turn the page on that.
All right, so we had two other stories break here over the weekend, and then we'll dive into your thoughts on the Knicks and how the draft went, Atlanta, and the Olympics coming up. But we've learned that Klay Thompson moving on after 13 years. Paul George going to test the free agency market. Now there's rumors that Paul George may be going to Golden State, and LeBron's opting out, maybe to free up some money here. Where does Klay Thompson go, do you think, when it's all said and done? And who the hell who'd want to pay him the money to get him in?
So, Joe, I think it's more Golden State is hesitant to pay the money to keep him, right? It's become a years versus money thing. And Golden State's only apparently offering like a 3-year at $48 million total on the contract. Then you go over to some of the other teams, like the Oklahoma City Thunder, have a nice 2-year window that's available to load up on contracts before Chet Holmgren and guys like SGA have to do another extension. So you get to the point where like Could OKC come in and offer him a 2 years for $55 million, and then you're offering more money and less years and blowing that Golden State Warriors deal out the water, and you get to pair him and be a sniper alongside of that team, right? They brought in Gordon Hayward last season at the deadline. It didn't really work out for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Could Klay Thompson be that missing piece and that shooter? We saw in the playoffs, the Mavericks just kind of let them sit back and let Josh Giddey take as many open threes. Well, now Oklahoma City has moved on from Giddey, so a starting spot is open in the rotation. Could it be Klay Thompson that comes in, gets a small starter's role? Golden State also wants him to come off the bench for Brandon Podziemski. I don't think Klay Thompson wants to come off the bench for a second-year player already. So is he guaranteed a starting spot and more money in return for one less year? I think this is the crux where Golden State might have to pay the emotional tax and keep him. I'm not too sold that he's definitely leaving yet.
Are you sold that Paul George is going to be wearing a different uniform?
No, but I think it's very exciting that for the first time in like 5, 6, 7 years, NBA free agency players are taking meetings. It's been a big thing to open up your cap space. It's never really worked out in the past for teams. So Paul George now taking meetings with Philadelphia and Orlando. They both have max cap space. So Orlando could be the choice if it's purely financial, right? You go from California to Florida on a max contract. There's a huge reduction in taxes on that contract too. You go to Philadelphia, split the difference and be competitive. You're still signing up to play with Embiid, who's frequently injured, similar to Kawhi, and you're playing with a budding point guard in Maxey, who's probably comparable talent level to James Harden. So the competitiveness of Philadelphia, I understand. The financial aspect of Orlando makes a lot of sense. Ultimately, it might just be a leverage play to get Steve Ballmer to offer the contract. Clippers moved to a new stadium this incoming season, the Toilet Dome, because I think they're going to have the most toilets in the NBA. And I'm not convinced also that Paul George won't be handed the bag to stay there.
I think there's a lot that can happen between now and the start. Talk to me about Atlanta. Did they trade the right guy? And do you like the move to the Pelicans?
Definitely traded the right guy. Definitely got the right pieces back. I actually love this for Atlanta. Trae Young is still a superstar whose value's at its absolute floor. Like if Trae Young is on par with Donovan Mitchell, that should be the talent level that we speak to. He's not getting that in trade value talks. It's apparently equal between him and DeJounte. So DeJounte Murray is the one that you have to move on from. The Atlanta Hawks bring in this young guard named Dyson Daniels. He could also be a poor man's DeJounte Murray. He's got a lot of length. He's very young. He's got a very team-friendly contract with some team control. And then you see they bring in 2 first-round picks, a 25 and 27. Now, they're not going to be great first-round picks, but in the NBA, your trade parameters of what you're allowed to do often revolves how many first-round picks you have. So just by reacquiring first-round picks, they're no longer in a pick debt, which creates flexibility for them as a team to do things moving forward. On the Pelican side, this is the first move of a few that are coming. I think that Brandon Ingram might be the next player on the move. I think Jonas Valanciunas might be one of those players that the Lakers are targeting to give some money. So I do think that this is one of many. So I'm holding my judgment on the Pelican side of things.
So we learned that the Knicks, of course, are going to look a little different coming up here this year. Do you like the direction they're heading? Because ultimately, teams are building rosters to beat Boston. Can you believe they can now with this roster?
So let me tell you something, Joe. This is a take that I haven't really seen out there. I'll give it to SportsGrid first and foremost. I think the Knicks were smart to make this trade and push the chips in for picks now, because a team like Oklahoma City that we just talked about has plus 12 first-round picks, and the Knicks had plus 8. So if the Knicks were going to wait and wait and wait for the right player, there was always a chance that the Oklahoma City Thunder were also going to come in and trump the offer. So you had to push the chips in sooner or later, knowing there was another team that could offer even more if Joel Embiid hit the trade market, or if Karl Anthony Towns or Donovan Mitchell truly hit the trade market. there were teams that could trump what the Knicks had in the storage bin. So the Knicks push their chips in on OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. They do become dynamic to face up with Boston. So I definitely understand this. And then we'll see if the rollover is, does Jalen Brunson take a little bit less money? Does DiVincenzo take a little bit less money? Does Isaiah Hartenstein want to come back with this team and take a less lucrative contract? Because the chemistry of these guys playing together in college, you might be able to keep some of the players on the fringe deals a little bit more happy.
I like the way you go in there. All right, let me ask you quick here. The Olympics will be here before we know it. Mike, what does this roster look like for the U.S., and is there any value in looking to back them here?
So there might be one bet that I actually kind of like, and it's Joel Embiid to be the leading scorer for Team USA. Now, you look at the roster, and there's tons of front court and wing depth. Like, who's going to get the minutes between Durant, Tatum, Kawhi, LeBron, like Booker, Ant-Man? There's all these young wings that can get hot on any moment. In the front court, it's really just Embiid, Anthony Davis, and Bam Adebayo. Embiid is going to start. He's going to have to operate in the mid-range because there's no defensive three in the key. So giving Embiid the ball at the free throw line and letting him go to work is going to be how Team USA initiates offense. So expect him to be high usage. The man can get to the free throw line with the best of them. He's a walking bucket. He scores more than a point a minute in the NBA. I love him to make a strong debut and be the leading scorer for Team USA. Plus 350.
That's a big number. I love that, man, for such a big man here that's going to push his way around. So love it. Michael Fiddle, always a pleasure, brother, to talk hoops with you. I'd like to say it's going to get easier, but you know the headlines are going to keep coming, and we look forward to talking to you again. GTD next here on the Grid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11 and 12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Rory Mack, it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We know we also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Game Time Decisions here on this Sunday as we get ready to say goodbye to June. We welcome in July, and there's a lot happening in the world of golf over the next 3 to 5 weeks for sure. Nobody knows that better than our good friend Keith Stewart in the house here. And Keith, it's an interesting time of year. We were just talking off air. The next couple of weeks to a month are going to be very interesting, but we have a Rocket Mortgage Classic right now, round 4 underway. And I believe, 11 players within 4 strokes, I think, when the day started here, including an amateur, this kid, Luke Clanton out of FSU, catching some headlines here. What do you think we're going to get today?
Well, Joe, yeah, good morning here or good afternoon on a Sunday. Pleasure to be with you talking golf. And there's actually 13 guys within 4 shots of the lead and 18 guys within 5. Now, the weather today,
Woo.
I think that 4-shot, that 3-shot barrier, and with the number of names that are up there, is kind of where the winner could possibly come from. There's just too many guys, and it got a little cooler out there. They got a ton of rain yesterday. The golf course is playing long, and the wind is not working in their favor.
It's when we look at some of these names here, I mean, 36-54. I think Batia and Aaron Rai have been pretty much neck and neck. A lot of people have been focusing on Cameron Young over the last couple of weeks. Of course, the record-setting round there last tournament. Who would you zone in on here and say, hey, as long as they get to the back within a couple of shots, they've got a chance of overtaking these two?
That's a great question today. I mean, this is the first time in any number of weeks, and we have just come off of 5 elite events in 7 weeks with 2 majors and, of course, 3 signature events. But for the first time, as long as I can remember, on a Sunday, we have 4 guys with single-digit odds as the outright winner. Now, usually when Scotty's involved, he's down there and he's the favorite, and then everyone else is at least double digits. But we got 4 guys, and Cam Young is one of them. Now, he's one of those guys up at the top that doesn't have a win yet. He's got 7 runner-ups in his young PGA Tour career, whereas you've got somebody that's leading like Akshay Bhatia, who's got 2 wins in the last 11 months. I mean, the guy skipped college. He came right out on the tour. He's been winning. And ever since he fixed the putter last summer, I mean, the guy has been electric. You would think that's a guy you want to lean towards. But Joe, I travel with the tour most of the weeks that there's a signature event or a major. And last week I walked with Bhatia, Tom Kim, and Scotty Scheffler in the final group. And Bhatia, on that back 9, did not show me anything. So I have concerns today going into his final 9, whereas there's some guys around him that definitely have shown that on a Sunday they could step up. One of the names, if you want me to give you a name today that I love with some value, is EVR, Eric Van Rooyen. And I know you're probably saying, who is this guy? But guess what? Plus 1,400. He won back in November on the PGA Tour at the Worldwide Technology Championship by shooting 63 on a Sunday with a total of 27 under par. This thing's a total birdie fest. And what I love most about EVR is that the wind, which I mentioned just earlier, all the par 5s are playing into the wind today. So those easy birdies these guys were getting the first couple days, now they're going to have to score in some other places. EVR leads the tour, or leads the top 10 guys here in the field in par 3 scoring. So you got to love the fact that he's going to play well on the 3s, which are very difficult there at Detroit Golf Club, and he's a lead at par 4 scoring as well. I think he can step up there today, and he can challenge the 2 guys at the top.
Well, I mean, Cameron Young's an enigma, is he not? I mean, former PGA, rookie? Yeah, his game is... It's there. I mean, how much I thought he was amazing last week. He kind of fell apart after in the 4th round on the back 9 there, but in Connecticut. But how close is he, man, where we're talking about this guy each and every week?
He's really close, and really it comes down to it, and we say this all the time, and it gets to become cliche, but he's got to get the putter to work on a Sunday, and especially on a weekend. When you look closely at the stats from his 59 last Saturday, Joe, on the back 9, he lost strokes putting. Listen to me say that again. He shot 59, and over the back 9 total holes, he lost strokes putting. It's unbelievable. He's one of 2 guys in the top 10 right now at the Rocket Mortgage that's outside the top 15 in strokes gained putting. So he's going to have to really go, just completely polar opposite of what he has been with the putter on a Sunday. There's no doubt his ball striking can get him there. I mean, we just mentioned he shot 59 last week. He has always put himself in position with his ball striking, but he has yet to close with those 7 runner-ups because the putter lets him down. Now, can he get it done with the putter today? I mean, he's a very likely candidate to flip the switch and have him do it. But you know what? I almost like Cameron on a golf course that's way harder, than Detroit Golf Club. There are going to be some guys that are already hot with the putter, that are average ball strikers, that are already in the top 10, have shown form this week. We love Cam in majors because it's so difficult and it shows off his ball striking. He's just ball striking it in the middle of the pack because some of these guys step up. I mean, Troy Merritt striking it like Cam Young. Are you kidding me? Right? But like when it comes to the Detroit Golf Club, Troy Merritt owns this place, and I'm not sure that Cam Young does.
Yep. What 17 under is where the leaders are. What wins this tournament here today, Keith, when it's all said and done?
Conditions are a little bit tougher today. I think if you get to 20, you're in a playoff. You go 21, 22, then certainly I think you're walking away with the trophy. With you getting that Rocket Mortgage circle, that red circle, you can stick your head in and have that photo moment. You know, I think that's where it's going to come down to. These guys are going to go. Even though the golf course is playing a little bit tougher today, this golf course just doesn't play tough. It's too easy for these guys. And quite frankly, it's caught in a tough part in the season where you've got a lot of hungry guys that are way down the FedEx Cup points list that are coming after these guys that have, Akshay's played 8 weeks in a row. So I think somebody like an EVR or a Cam Davis grabs him when the time comes at the end.
That sounds like a fade. And I mean, let's face it, he's playing on Sundays and meaningful golf down the stretch. That's got to wear on some guys here. Keith, as always, my man, we appreciate the time. We got a lot of great golf coming up here over the next 2 months, and it should be a wild ride to see what happens once we cross over to the pond. Couple of huge tournaments coming up there, the Olympics. We got a lot going on, and we appreciate it, as always, talking with you, man. Enjoy the rest of the tournament here today. 21 under sounds to be a winner here, and you heard it here with Keith, and he doesn't lie, guys. He never lies. He just cashes tickets. Keith, we appreciate it, brother. Talk to you next week.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
11 and 12. I know you're going to get Mafia excited here. Hot and bothered.
You got to put Aaron Rodgers here and the Jets at 11. I would put him higher, but again, he barely played football last season. They've addressed their offensive line. It's not going to be great. The depth at wide receiver is a problem for me. Defense, perhaps the best in the National Football League. If Rodgers plays 14 games, they're probably going to win that division over the Bills.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Rory Mack, it's going to be remembered. It will be a lasting image from the 2024 United States Open, just like Bryson DeChambeau's 55-yard bunker shot.
We love big-time winners. Like, you win a championship, we want to hear from you. You get the stage. Sometimes it's emotional. It's a great watch. We know we also love the losers who said, you know what, I just can't believe I folded down the stretch. Let me face the music here. You sort of get a new light there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in as we look to close out this edition of Game Time Decisions here. Got a little something for everybody here today. Talking some golf there with our good friend Keith Stewart there as the Rocket Mortgage Classic underway. Final round here in Detroit. And you heard him there. There's a couple of guys down the board at a pretty good place. Eric Van Rooyen might be somebody you want to take a look at here today. Currently 15 under par, just 2 shots off the lead. We also have plenty of Major League Baseball getting ready to go. In fact, one game already underway here, and that will be the Pirates and the Braves. They started at about 11:30 Eastern time this morning, and right now the runs have finally hit the board. The Pirates are up 2-1 in this one. We're in the top of the 5th inning there. The next wave of games will include the Marlins and the Phillies. That too coming up. Ranger Suarez on the mound for the Phillies today, trying to get any which way cut it. Would be an embarrassing loss of a series since they've already lost 2 of 3 to the Marlins. The Marlins are trying to maybe turn things around here before the All-Star break with an opportunity to take 3 or 4 from the National League East leader here in the Philadelphia Phillies. But Suarez, 6.5 as a total strikeout prop, feels like an over should be in play for him today against this Marlins lineup. We talked earlier about the Padres and the Red Sox. Waldron, love this guy, knuckleballer, going against a Red Sox lineup that is struggling. You don't see knuckleball pitchers very often, and I don't see how they're going to turn it around. They've been outscored 20-3 in the first 2 games of this series. I don't see that getting any better coming up here in about 35 minutes at Fenway. I think the Padres keep hitting and keep ripping the ball. I think the Red Sox are in. They're in for it here today, once again, with that Padres lineup. And then the Yankees and the Blue Jays, get ready. I still have no idea why this total is 7.5 and 8. It would only be an over for me. And yes, I get Garrett Cole is going for the Yankees, but if you haven't noticed, this is just his 3rd start of the season, and he's not so much velocity is an issue, but his location is still an issue. And a team like the Orioles made him pay last go-around with 4 home runs, and there's no doubt the Blue Jays have been hitting better now with Springer finally starting to come around for him, Bichette healthy, finally starting to come around for him. And then, of course, Guerrero hitting home runs again in a smaller Rogers Center ballpark where both bullpens have gone through it. Neither bullpen can be trusted right about now, but quite honestly, Gausman can't be trusted as a starter either for Toronto. Give me the over with the Yankees and Toronto here today. And something tells me we're also going to get an over with the Astros and the Mets in another one there in which we saw a whole lot of runs yesterday in this game. Severino taking on a bullpen game for Houston. Both of these teams' lineups are very capable of scoring double-digit runs by themselves. I don't see how we don't get that here today. Severino's history against this Houston team when he was with the Yankees, not great. They're very familiar with him. They should have no problem scoring some runs here. And Severino might have to stay in longer than he wants, as the Mets bullpen still without their ace closer, Diaz, who was suspended for the sticky stuff. And that bullpen got crushed yesterday. They have been overworked. There are not a lot of arms available for the Mets bullpen here today, which means the Astros lineup should be able to score some runs, maybe even a team total over for the Astros or a team total over for the Mets. Either way, I think we get double digits again when it's all said and done. And don't forget, Sunday night baseball tonight, Rangers and the Orioles. Heaney versus Irvin. Can the Rangers scrape out a win here? Keep an eye on whether or not Seager is available to them tonight. He did leave the game yesterday. They need all the runs they can get. Both bullpens have been big time worked in this weekend series, so it feels like a Sunday night over once again here at Camden Yards. All right, that'll do it for this week's final Game Time decision that we close out June. In-game live all access is coming up. They'll have you covered with all the games We'll see you again tomorrow here on the Grid. Good luck.